You know, why is it we are all so freaking hypocritical? Okay, double standards are bad, okay? Well, hello brothers and sisters, welcome to Mission Zero. If this is your first time here, I have two things to tell you. The first is that my name is Shawn, and this is FlashBack Friday, the show where we take stories from the past and apply them to the present to create a better future. The second is that you should just go ahead and, because it's Friday, take your lunch break and binge every video we have. So after an entire week of talking about the duality of people, the thing that I think we really need to talk about today is a story about sticks. Well, okay, so the story that I think we need to talk about today is out of Matthew chapter 7, and you've heard this before, verses 3 through 5, where Jesus says, "And how do you recognize the mote in your brother's eye, but you don't see the beam in your own? Or you'll ask your brother, 'Here, let me get that mote out of your eye,' before you've gotten the beam out of your own eye. Hypocrites! For I say, take the beam out of your own eye, and then attend to getting the mote out of your brother's eye, when you can see more clearly." Now, we've all heard this story, and I'm not really going to add anything new. I'm not going to tell you that people have taught you this wrong. I'm going to tell you you haven't paid attention to it enough, and neither have I. See, the story is exactly what it sounds like. He's really saying, why is it we are so quick to see everyone else's faults and everyone else's failures, but then we're just blind to our own? And worse, that we will go to people and say, you know what, I can help you fix your problem, before we've even fixed our own. And man, the piece of that that's so critical for us to really think about is, I think most of us, it's not that you don't see the beam in your own eye. It's that you think that beam is supposed to be there. And this is really the problem is, oh no, we recognize that we have faults. But when we take the self-assessment, our truest faults are not the ones that we see. And so we think we're giving advice that we've mastered our own selves. And you know what? That is never, ever true. And look, man, I know that that doesn't sound fun, and we don't like to admit that. I don't like it, okay? I don't like to admit it about myself. But it's really important because, look, last week I built us all up. Your failures and your flaws are what help differentiate you. They're what give you your uniqueness. But the thing about that is the other side. Other people's failures and flaws are what give them their uniqueness. And it's not for you to say what somebody else needs to fix in their life. I've said this before. If you are in a heart space to help them and they are in a heart space to hear you, you can absolutely offer unsolicited advice. But it always has to come from a place of understanding you ain't got this licked either. You know, Jesus Christ himself said, "Why do you call me good? There's only one who's good, and it's the one who sent me." But we just stomp around so positive that we've got it right. Everybody else has it wrong. And we have just so got to nip that in the bud. Just in saying it, just in pointing this out to us all, I'm highlighting the beam that's in my eye. And there's a takeaway for you. Anytime somebody points out to you why they're better than you, or why they're bigger than you, or why they're more learned than you, or more sophisticated than you, that's their beam. They're showing you, they are telling you subconsciously, here's my beam. We all got beams, we all got specks, and none of us see clearly, and that's okay. That's why we are all here, is so that we can help each other through. And you know, so, okay, I gotta stop beating up on us, but it's just really, I want us to understand Iron sharpens iron never meant I sharpen you. It always meant we sharpen each other. Because we are all nicked, and we all have scratches, and we all have imperfections in our blade. But we collectively can create something better, stronger, and more complete. And so there's the exhortation, is we need to pay a little less attention to other people's beams and a little more attention to our own beams. And if we can just do that, what a happier world it will be. So I'm gonna cut it there and take this message, take whatever piece of this message convicts you, and particularly if it's one that pisses you off, take that point and use it to become better, to become bigger, to become the you-iest you can be. And may God pour out the blessings of humility and grace and mercy and mercifulness in all of us so that we can just get along with each other. And man, I love you so much. Peace out. Here comes the rain of leaves falling on my head like a... I don't know what. I'm a hero.